Morning from North Tyrone. In this video I'll show you how to fit an armature and brushes in a Makita 9554 NB 240 volt. I'll show you how to reassemble this grinder and show you hopefully it working at the end. In my previous video I showed you how to dismantle it. So this is effectively part 2 of the tutorial. First of all, I'll show you what you need to reassemble this thing. A spanner, pliers, and pointy nose pliers are excellent for the job. Selection of screwdrivers and a hammer. Right, that's maybe the most surprising part of it. But I'll start where I left off. This here, last thing I did was pull this out of the inside of the excuse me, grinder. So I've used the spanner to already slacken this nut. So that nut comes off. See that? And the spanner you use for that is a size 10mm. You know? There's like a conical cog that comes off. It's just sitting there. So you see that. And now you have the armature in this here. Why you need a hammer is I think you just need to beat this off. This might be easier said than done. Right. Just pause a wee second. Right, what I did there is I went outside and I put that down in the concrete pavement and started hammering here, and that got it free. You can see you'll need this bit again. This bit is now irrelevant, but that's where the here slides over, you know. So yeah, that way. So we go for our trusty friend, the hammer again. Tap that on. This is probably the worst part of fitting this thing. But yeah. Right. So that's that. Also on the old armature there's a rubber butt here, and it seats into the bottom of the housing when you put that down on. So put that onto the new armature. And we can refit this conical cog again. Yeah. That'll pull her into place. That's excellent. Right. Next thing I think we should do. Right, before I move on, armature they've just worked on. Replacement for this old one. That's the part number there, 515617-7. That'll fit the 240 volt one. If you have a 110 one, it's a different part number. But there's plenty of good diagrams online, you'll be able to identify it fairly easy. Okay, that's that part of that. Okay, next thing is fitting. We could probably get away with these brushes, but there's no reason why we should. But new brushes are fairly cheap. We'll make a good job of it. So, as I showed you in the previous video, there's 2 screws holding that housing on. I've removed them. So, and that should pull nicely out of there. Yeah. And you see, there's a speed connector that connects the brushes to the housing, and you pull that out like that. You do the same on the other side, but I'll show you this one first. These are the new brushes. There's 2 numbers, there's CB325 and there's 194074-2. But you'll be able to pick that up in the parts diagram. Anyway, refit the new brushes. Yeah. Doing that upside down, there it is there. So there's speed there. You've had a wee push on. With the aid of the pliers if you need. Can be helpful in these wee things. That's lovely there. And as you can see, the springs go down there. There's a flat spring in there. That's good down there. Right, do you see that? That spring. May have done that wrong. May have to hold on, do you see? Lift up the spring first. I'll make things a wee bit less complicated. Put it over there, like that. And we'll put on the new brush like this. And then fit the spade. Because I find it hard to get the brush in with the spade fitted. Again, with the aid of your pliers, push it down into place well. And then put the spring and like that, right? And repeat on the other side. I'll do this quickly because you've already seen me do this. That's it. Deal. Not make a mistake twice. So much for doing this quickly. Right, there we are. That's a spring in place, out of place. There's that. And then there is that. And we'll go around the other way. I'll go the other way. Don't think it would matter in the big scale of things anyway. Push that down. That's in place. Spring in place. See? But I'll leave them hanging out there because we can't fit them just yet. What we have to do is refit this down the centre. But there's no real debris in there. You can take that out, them two screws, but I don't think it's necessary to do that. I can just slide this down the centre. And if you look on the housing, there's a wee track there. And there's a wee track in the housing there. That slides into place. Very, very nicely there. Now, this time we can put the brushes back into place. We springing out. Slide them in like that anyway. If it makes it easier, you could displace the spring again and set it in. I think that might be a wiser way to do this until you ever insert it in. Then lift up the spring then and push her down. That's her in place now. Two small screws, two of them. Screw them into place. Turn her over and repeat the process completely. Again, displace the spring. That seems to work. And then put her down. As you're putting her down, reposition the spring. Push her on down. So that's it in position. Again, with your two screws. Right, that's perfect. Nicely into position there. Right. These brushes away. Don't need them. The spanner away, but not need that. The rest of this fix. This screw goes in the back. Put the back onto this now. I want to close that up. Cover all that business there. Right, screw goes in there. A better screwdriver here. Nice to have a selection of screwdrivers. You can always go for the next one up or plan B. That's better. That's the housing on anyway. You know. Right. And I would say put this part on. This is fairly straightforward. But depending where you want the switch, if you want the switch in the top or you want the switch in the side, you have that choice. If you're left-handed, right-handed, whatever way you are. You could do this even you're not fixing, it's just a matter of screwing out this 4 screws. It's a good idea if you have any grease to put a bit of grease on there too, because it's your workings too, it's your mechanical side of this wonderful device. You screw those 4 screws in, get it into position. This is fairly straightforward sort of a fix compared to some things that you'd be working at. Hitting up the screws now. I think what happened to this grinder, I think she just got too much to do. I think she was just used beyond their abilities. This 9554 model is no longer available from Makita. They've superseded it with something else. But this was a great grinder, you know. Very slimline, very easy to get your hand round. Quite a big motor for all the size of her. Everything was built compact. And you could see the way it was easily put together there, that this machine was built for mass production for a factory. So that's it back together. Just give me a moment and I'll plug this. Right, plug that on now. I don't know if you've seen my previous videos, you'd have seen this was smoking like your mama the day before your court date. So hopefully we've solved that problem with the new parts. So this is the moment of truth. That's sounding pretty smooth there. So that is how you put together a Makita 9554NB. And if you want to see how to dismantle it, I have a previous video on this. Same machine here I have in front of me. And thanks for everything. R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins, who died the other day. Goodbye.